So I'm taking a public speaking course, and through the course, I've learned that in order for one to convince an audience about their political viewpoints or opinions or the information they're trying to provide to the audience is to dress very formal. So that is what I'm doing for this video. Now, why did it take a public speaking course for me to know this? I don't know. That's the point in my life where I'm at right now. I should have known this, but thank you guys for coming to this channel if you're new, and if you're a subscriber, thank you for your patience, because my upload schedule has been ayos, and I apologize for that. Like I said, depression, school, and other activities have been keeping me very busy, so I haven't really been churning out YouTube videos like I should, but I will try harder. I will work harder. Again, I apologize, and thank you guys for being loyal. Now, oh, also, by the way, 64 subscribers?
We did
the
it!
fuck?
We did it!
Like, big improvement. 2 years ago, we were at 0, and now we're at 64. Like, ain't got good. Look at God. And, you know, if I'm being honest, when I was first starting off the channel, I made a second channel just to subscribe to this channel so I can get, like, you know, the ball rolling, and it worked. Look where we are now. We're striving. Like, got my mind. Anyways, onto the video. Now, I'm not talking about actual racers here, you know, plot twist.
You son of a bitch!
I'm talking about racist and racism in general. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, it's been on my mind for a while, and I've had a couple of discussions or discourses with a couple of friends, all of them who were black, or the one who was biracial, black and white. But it's very strange to me, because this kind of discourse, I always imagined I would only see online, like through Instagram, YouTube, and kind of more very liberal leaning YouTube and Instagram. I never thought that it would be like a discourse that I would see in the real world. I just thought it was one of those things where it's like online and it's a first world problem. But no, people actually believe this stuff, my friends included, which I didn't think would be possible. Why? I don't know, but it's very eye-opening and like a brick to the face that people really believe this viewpoint and opinion. The argument is, or my friend's argument, is that black people and people of color can't be racist. They can be prejudiced, but never racist. I'm sorry, what? So I had this discourse very civilly with my friends, and we're still best friends, we still talk to each other, but we're on two opposite sides of this argument. My side and opinion is that anyone and everyone can be racist, no matter your skin color. You can be black, white, Latino, Asian, etc. Whatever it is, you can be racist. Because to me, and to various dictionaries, I believe that being racist is just hating someone or disliking someone just because of their skin color and ethnicity. That's really it. But to people who disagree with me, like my friends, they argue that to be racist, and in order to be racist, you have to have power or be the majority. Because black people are such a minority and other people of color are a minority in America and aren't really dominant in the political realm or in the wealthy realm, they can't be racist. In order to be racist, you have to have political power or wealth or be the dominant race throughout centuries. I'm just gonna say right now, they're wrong. They're very much wrong. I'm right, I'm in the right. If you think like me, we're in the right. It's not being arrogant or standoffish or acting like we're superior. We're just right. Like, there's, you know, I respect your opinion if you disagree with me, but you're wrong. You're in the wrong. It's not being arrogant, it's just, it's facts. It's factual, it's what it is. Call a spade, call a white wall what it is, call lacking decoration for a video what it is. Like, there's nothing in this video. Like, call it what it is. It's pretty obvious. It's a fact. My friend's opinion and viewpoint, and other people online who agree with her viewpoint, believe that people of color can't be racist towards one another, especially white people. They can't be racist towards them, but they can be prejudiced towards each other. What does that add to the argument? What does that do? Because to me, it seems like you're downplaying whenever a black person or Asian or Mexican is being racist, and just like downplaying what they're doing. It's like white people being racist is like at the tippy top. Like, here's a chart, and people of color are like, who do a racist act, are a bit lower than that. It's not really racism, it's just prejudice. It's, you know, a bit lower. That's what it seems like to me. Like you're downplaying racism when it's done by a person of color. I can't comprehend like why call it prejudice if it's racism. For example, let's say I'm talking to my mom in Spanish in public at a grocery store or restaurant, and a black person or Asian person, whatever race they are, except white, anything else besides white, they overhear our conversation and they call us a wetback beaners. They need to Speedy Gonzalez our ass back to Mexico. That our ethnicity and culture and skin color is subhuman, filth of the earth, dirty, disgusting. We need to go back to Mexico and don't belong in this country. Why would I not call that racism? Why would I call that prejudice? Because again, like I said, it seems like I'm downplaying what they did. Because they're a minority or a person of color, they can't be racist. They can be prejudiced, which is almost racism, but not really there. That's what it seems like to me. They're just downplaying what they did. Why? Why try to defend someone who's being a racist asshole? Who cares about their skin color? Also, who can tell if he actually isn't like richer than me or holds more power than I do? I don't know him. I don't know him or her and their background. Maybe they're doing better than me. What if they're not minority at all? What if they're actually like in the 1%, no matter the skin color? Because I've worked with my dad, and he does construction and painting houses and working for at people's houses. And when I go to work with him sometimes, the people or the races that I mostly see in like wealthy neighborhoods when working like construction or painting their houses, it's either mostly white people or black people. I've seen rich black people in these rich neighborhoods. There was one guy who was black who owned a 2-story house that had a freaking elevator in there. He had an elevator in a 2-story house. And when I walked in there, it looked beautiful. There was mahogany wood everywhere. There was some fine ass paintings on the wall. Everything was gorgeous. It looked rich, expensive. It looked like those libraries that have like the leather seats and everything's just mahogany wood, like old ass stoic books or talking about the Greek gods, philosophy, etc. It looked wealthy, rich, nice. In my experience, in like my years of going to work with my dad, I've never come across a rich Mexican or a rich Asian person. It's mostly either white people or black people that are in these rich houses. And it's good for them. Like, they worked hard for it, not shitting on them, not awful at all. But what I'm trying to get at is that black people can also be rich and can also be wealthy and better off than I am. Now, I'm completely grateful for my life and what I've been given, and, you know, not complaining whatsoever. It's just that black people can be rich too. We've come a long way since 60, 50 years ago. Black people are doing a lot better now. So are Mexicans and Asians. So why have this mentality that people of color will always be the minority? Like 100% can do no wrong, are always going to be the victims. Get out of that victim mentality. We have come a long way since then. Also, let's look at a couple of crimes that have happened in the United States. One being where it's still going on, like the case I believe, where a white guy murdered 6 Asian women at a spa and killed 2 white people. When that was televised and released out to the public, everyone was quick to call him a racist. With good reason. I completely agree too. Everyone called him a racist on Instagram, Twitter, everywhere you went, someone was calling him a racist. Now, a different crime that was committed by Antoine Watson, a 19-year-old black teenager who killed an 84-year-old Asian man. In this case, the 84-year-old Asian man was just walking in his neighborhood, and Antoine comes out of nowhere, pushes him across like the floor, well, like shoves him real hard, causing him to like again fall, hit his head on the concrete floor. When the 84-year-old Asian man was rushed to the hospital, it was too late to help him or heal him, and he had died in the hospital. Of course, this isn't the same severity or amount of chaos as the first crime that I discussed or that happened, but I would still label this an act of racism. This Asian man was just walking, minding his own business, until a black teenager comes and pushes him for no reason. He just attacks him, insults him for no reason. I would call this an act of racism because, again, I'm pretty sure the black man just saw an Asian man and thought like, oh, he probably had coronavirus, or, you know, that mentality. And that crime wasn't publicized or really mentioned on Instagram, Facebook, or in the news that much. There were news articles online discussing this crime, but I never really saw it on TV or mentioned on YouTube or recommended anywhere. It was very silent and quiet. No one mentioned this hateful crime committed by a black teenager. Mostly because he was a black teenager and everybody wanted to keep their mouth hush hush because it didn't fit with their political ideology and viewpoints. Or political narrative, I mean. Again, like I said, it wasn't the same severity as the first crime by the white guy who killed 6 Asian women and 2 white people. But it's still a crime where someone died. Someone lost their life. A family lost a loved one. Why isn't this being talked about as well? This is an act of racism. What I'm trying to get at is that the first crime committed by a white guy, he was labeled a racist. The second crime committed by a black guy was not really called or labeled a racist. It was, again, hush hush, not that many people talked about it. Why? Would people call Anton Watson's case or that crime an act of prejudice? Because if people did, what does that do? That's my main question. What does that do? What does that solve? What does that bring to the conversation? Because I highly doubt, I know for a fact that if people who did agree that the Anton Watson case was an act of prejudice and not racism, I highly doubt that if they had the opportunity to talk to the family and speak with them, I 100% doubt they would ever mention to the family that, hey, we're sorry for your loss, but it wasn't really an act of racism, it was just prejudice. You know, it's close to racism, but it's not really racism, it's prejudice, because, you know, we've been the minority for so long that it was just prejudice, you know? I doubt people would mention that because, one, it's inappropriate to mention it to the family who lost a loved one, and two, because it adds nothing to the conversation. What does it change? What does it add of substance and value? Nothing. Bringing that up does nothing. I don't know how much I can stress this enough, that it adds nothing to any conversation. It doesn't change the crime that was committed. It doesn't change anything. Why try to downplay what a black person, Mexican or Asian, does if it's racist? If they're being a racist asshole, why would you try to downplay what they're doing? Why try to defend them? And I'm not saying that's what people are doing. Like, I'm not saying that's what my friends are doing, but that's what it appears like. You're defending them for being a racist asshole. You're giving an excuse as to what they're doing. Because they're a minority, it's prejudice. Who knows if they're a minority? They could be a rich Mexican, they could be a rich black person, a rich Asian person. Who cares? They could be doing a lot better than I can and still be racist. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be rich, poor, middle class, whatever, to be racist. You just have to hate someone because of their skin color and ethnicity. That's really it. So to wrap everything up in a nice little bow, anyone can be racist, no matter your skin color. Prejudice adds nothing to the conversation. Labeling a black person or Asian or Mexican as prejudiced when they commit or say something very racist changes nothing. It does nothing. Again, it seems like you're downplaying what the assaulter or racist is doing. You're not really caring that much about the victim or the person who experienced racism. It just, again, it does nothing. You're changing, adding nothing of substance. That's really all there is to it. Again, thank you guys for watching. Camera's about to die. That's awesome. I know I mentioned a couple videos earlier that I didn't want to discuss political topics that much, but this has been on my mind for so long that I needed like an outlet to express my opinions, because it's mind-boggling and shocking that people actually believe or view this viewpoint and agree with it. I'm gonna try to upload my Promising Young Women video as soon as possible. I'll try to work on my Ghost in the Shell Part 2 video. I gotta work on a lot of different stuff. But again, thank you guys for your patience, and I really love it. You're awesome. Stay cool, stay fresh, stay gay, stay straight, stay black, white, Asian, Mexican, whatever. Stay being an asshole if you want. Stay being cool. Stay being you. That's what matters. Deuces.